Hi, and welcome to the online course titled UnMukt, the Science and Art of Design Thinking. The course is brought to you by the School of Design Thinking. In this session, titled Design Definitions, you will learn the three prominent definitions. The first being Stanford University's approach, the second from Yale University, and the third from the School of Design Thinking. The session is 21 minutes long. Have a pencil and workbook handy, and open your mind to learn and grow. Now, over to Arun Jain.
First definition of design, it comes with the first thing called human. But everything which is designed is around human. It's serving some purpose of human. And it's some desirability is there, some inspiration is there. So any design definition comes from it. First thing is human, his desirability or inspiration. Then what is the role of a technology? Technology over here, I'm not seeing the Java as a technology. I'm seeing anything which is enabling the work is a technology. Technology comes from the word technique. So technology, feasibility is a word. When you design a language, feasibility is the technology of language is different than like technology of Java language. Today technology means IT. We connect, technology means IT. Or technology means some of the small machines are required. But we don't look at the technique. A process design, technology is a process design. If long charts on which you can write it down, that's also technology. The streamline diagram of a process design is also a technology. So technology makes it feasible, and it requires ideation. And third thing is your business, which makes it viable and it implementable. Like solar technology, it's feasible from last 20 years, 1995 onwards it's feasible. Still it's taking time to become viable. Viability point is almost reaching there because other costs are going up. So it's becoming viable. So there are many things which can become viable in your business, certain products which you develop. What creates a viability of a product? When you develop a product, what are the dimensions on which a viability comes in? Sustainability. What else? Cost. So cost will come down based on what? Mass consumption, volumes. If the volumes are large, your viability can be better. What else drives the viability? Scalability. Need. It's in high demand, then it becomes a better viable. Replicability. And if you just do exercise, you will find 10 or 15 elements will come for the viability. When you do the design thinking exercise in your job which you are doing, you will say, what will make it viable? It can, your distribution can make it viable. You are doing a product and distributing only in one geography or only in Chennai versus distributing in 10 cities, it makes a viability. Your dealership network can become a viable network. Like in Apple, iPad was designed before iPhone. Some of my friend was telling that the design of iPad came in before the iPhone. But viability of touchscreen for iPad was much, because the biggest cost was touchscreen cost. And touchscreen cost said in 2007, Steve Jobs said that I can only afford 3.5-inch screen or 2.5-inch screen for touchscreen because that was so expensive. And that also is possible, viability is possible because he given an order of 10 million phones simultaneously to make it viable. And that order was given to Samsung. So touchscreen was given by his competitor to manufacture the touchscreen phone because he has a touchscreen technology. Apple didn't have a touchscreen technology to manufacture the products. And it took 3 years to get it a iPad viability on touchscreen. So viability is volume. So somebody mentioned about the volumes and pricing. It's a viability. But distribution, acceptance in the marketplace are other few elements of viability. Second definition of design, when you move on, is the opportunity of design comes when there is a mystery in the marketplace. Something is not being solved by somebody. That's the starting point for design thinking coming in. Something observe the patterns of a mystery. A banking is not done from my home. That is a desirability part, but there's a mystery that how do I do it, whether Wi-Fi is the right connection, security is the right connection, how the security I'll handle. So there are many questions, many mysteries around it till the time it becomes a mobile banking. Then you start looking at it in mystery. I start looking at heuristics part of it. I start making clusters of it. In mobile banking, my clusters could be security. My cluster would be convenience. How do I use it? My third thing would be security, and I think convenience would be the two major element of design over there. So we put in a cluster. In trading business, Ravi, the advantage could be in algorithmic trading. You know that certain patterns are there. You cluster the patterns. That when one person is starting a large order, then other market price start going because demand-supply gap happens, and because of demand-supply gap happens, the price start moving. If you capture that gap, can you sell the shares or buy the shares because based on certain business rules which is there, which has become algorithm. So once you start heuristics, it can convert to algorithm. So entire AI industry today, AI technology, artificial intelligence, and natural language processing is based on looking the pattern of the voice, translating into understanding of the voice, making a listenable voice, fingerprinting pattern. So now fingerprinting becomes an algorithm. 10 years back, fingerprinting was in a heuristic stage. What the definition of design is about mystery, to heuristics, to algorithm. So now, in our context, in intellect context, where do we apply this mystery? A delivery excellence framework in software industry is a mystery. You say you need a great project manager to do it. A good software development, you need a software manager should have a developer, it should be the greatest software project management which should be there. Now, that is the one way of mystery. Then you write a SDLC manuals, CMMI manuals, you write a processes. The processes of manual run to 1,000 pages, 2,000 pages. We at Polaris celebrated CMMI level 5 in 2001 that, oh, we are the greatest company. We have 2,000 page process manual. Oh, we are the greatest company because 2,000 page. Each process is documented to the last mile. And we are the world first CMMI company. We celebrated it. Later on, I realized that, okay, that's a great thing which is done to document every process. But that is we are creating one mystery, solving one mystery and creating another mystery. The 2,000 pages manual becoming a second mystery. Because you know nobody will read it. Because 2,000 pages, nobody will read it. I need to have human mind has to have something very simple which is to be there. So we look at it now that what are the 7 elements which are required to make a delivery. What is the objective of delivery? Good software delivery. You deliver on time and in full. Full delivery, what customer expectations are, you should deliver in full and it should be on time. And if it's before time, it's best, but if it's on time, that's the best practice in software industry can be there. So we say our objective is deliver 3 days on time in full. D-3 OTIF is an acronym we put it. Now we say that how do we look at all the mysteries into a heuristics? We say there are seven things which is required for delivering on time in full. 3 things are required for doing in full. We need 3 things are there. Only 3 things are there, algorithm-wise. We need to understand the requirement better. So requirement understanding is the first element for delivering in full. Second is my solution should be complete. And third thing, my engineering should be complete. So I call it D1 for requirement, D2 for solutioning, D3 for engineering. Now for doing the good on-time delivery, what do we require? I require a good planning, good monitoring, good stakeholder management, and good people management. Who are the team members? There are only 4 things which is required. So I call D4 is planning, D5 is monitoring and control and review and escalation. If something goes wrong, how to recover from the situation. D6 is stakeholder management. How do you constantly keep in touch with the customer, because his requirement may keep on changing during the period of development. So you can keep in touch with him to ensure that you are on the same path as what his expectations are. And D7 is how you grow the people, how do you delegate the work, how do you motivate the people around it. So now this delivery excellence framework, which was 2000 manuals, becomes 7-step process called algorithm. As soon as we say 7-step process, everybody becomes more clear, because they can remember D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7. Whenever any problem diagnostic is happening, whenever some failure is happening, it's happening around that. When performance management is happening, you are doing the competency management on D1 to D7 grid, that this person is good in requirement management, this person is good in engineering, this person is good in solutioning, this person is good in planning, this is in monitoring. So it becomes one single framework, created so much of a alignment across the organization, which was a mystery at one point of time. And third is, which is our own developed definition at Intellect. So when we say design, understanding requirement, stated and unstated. Customer always give you a requirement based on his paradigm of problem solving. Because his paradigm comes from the fact that he is not knowledgeable about the space in which you are knowledgeable about. As a vendor, if you are going and asking State Bank of India, what is your problem statement and what is your requirement, he will give based on his past experiences. If he is running a paper-based ledger, he will give the requirement based on paper-based ledger. If he is running a TCS bank system, he will give a requirement based on TCS bank system. He will give only based on what his understanding of the past is. So his requirement is based on past, not on the what is possible. When he is changing the technology, we need to make him aware what is possible for him. What is possible for him to become successful. And that is unstated needs. We say, oh, customer didn't know, customer has signed off the requirement and still now want a change. It becomes a change request. So maximum project in software industry fails because we have a difference of opinion saying customer changed the requirement. Customer didn't change the requirement. When customer saw a new technology which is delivered, as soon as he sees some new coming up in his screens and he says, oh, this is also possible. Now he says, oh, if it is possible, why can't I change it? I can use it in this way. And my project manager says, my project got delayed because customer changed the requirement. The problem statement is not customer changed the requirement. Problem statement is we never spend time in understanding his unstated requirement and we never walk him through the journey, what are possible at the early stage of the project. So unstated requirement becomes a key element over here in the design, that how do you engage the customer, engage the team, whosoever is the product design team. If you are designing a hardware product, software product, business design, you need to understand at this point of time what is the unstated needs. Once you have unstated needs, next step is your observing. The question which you asked, Jachandar, is about mobile. How do I observe the patterns in mobile? So I observe certain patterns. Pattern says that I can do a financial transaction using my mobile is a pattern. Anti-pattern is if I do a transaction without a proper security control, there can be a fraud. So I need to understand pattern and anti-pattern, where it succeeds and where it fails. So what are the processes in airport which will succeed, what processes which fail? When sometimes a full flight of 200 people come in and there is a one toilet with a four compartments, become crowded. But that load is a momentary load. On an averaging load principle, that is more than sufficient, but on a momentary load of 200 flight, it becomes a constraint at that point of time. That is a kind of an anti-pattern. Pattern is You have a services available as soon as you get out of the airplane. You have a toilet in front of the, close to the, where the passengers are getting it out, because that is the time when they need it most. So you understand the unstated need of the customer, and you look at the pattern which is required, but then capacitizing that pattern is equally important there. Once you put it all of it, the next step is called connecting the dots. Certain patterns will connect with certain patterns, certain anti-pattern will connect with certain patterns. Anti-patterns will connect with patterns, because they will get eliminated. If you solve the pattern, it automatically solves the anti-pattern as well. So connecting the dot becomes the next step in the design thinking. When you're connecting the dots, there are two opportunities. One is within the box. What the problem you're solving, it's within that problem you're solving. But it can be outside the box. The problem you may be solving one problem, but it may result into second product which may be equally good at that point of time. Or you may connect the dots from some other outside box. You pick up from some other industry, they are solving this problem in this particular manner. That becomes a method of solving in this industry. If something works for the medical industry, why shouldn't it work for our industry? If you look at it in history, the motor was invented to replace horse cart. Any motor design which happened in the human industry, what was the inspiration for design thinking? Desirability. Horses is difficult to maintain, it's expensive to maintain, it requires space to maintain, and I've had to travel from place A to place B. It gives me, I need a mobility, I need something to replace it. That was the inspiration, desirability for me. And somehow we designed the motor. So motor becomes a train, steam has been converted to energy, energy has been converted to engine has been converted to the railway tracks. So many inventions happened that time. So many designs happened in that entire chain. So that was the one line of thought. So that is going within the box. That you keep on replacing motor and keep on effectively creating the chain of making train system efficient and more efficient by some 1 meter gauge and a 1.5 meter gauge and a compartment size and a steam capability. Then somebody, when the motor was running on his own track, somebody thought of it, can you run the motor vertically? It's running horizontally. Some freak guy would have challenged that, can you run a motor vertically? No? Can you run a motor vertically? What happened to that? What is the elevators? Elevators are just vertical. Instead of car running that way, elevator car is also called, some places will run elevator car. Yeah. Elevator car run vertical. What was the, has it a new invention? It's just connecting the dot outside the box to make horizontal to vertical, and that's changed the entire humanity. So simple connecting the dot outside the box makes a huge difference. To connect, observing pattern, connecting the dots becomes, connecting the dots is the most powerful thing in any design thinking process. But that has to linkage with UnMukt, because your thinking process has to be paradigm shifted. Fourth step is very other interesting step in design thinking called blind spots. And blind spot is, I define it, I don't know what I don't know. Just reflect. I don't know what I don't know. If I know I don't know, I can find the answer. I can do a research. I can go and ask some friend that I don't know this thing. Can you tell me? I can get a coach. I can refer to a book. But if I don't know what I don't know, how do I even explore that area? And that's a group exercise. This is only possible in a group exercise. So design thinking process is never individual process, it's a group process. You need to go do it together. Even you are the smartest person in your organization, you are CEO of the organization, you have all the entitlements to you, you will have your own set of blind spots. Engaging with the team, the young people, the as much diversity is there, the more the chances of unearthing the blind spots are there. So there are 4 steps there. Understanding customer requirement, stated, unstated, pattern, anti-patterns, within the box, outside the box, connect the dots, and you're unearthing the blind spot and keep questioning yourself, what I don't know, what I don't know. When we go to some new country, new city, we observe certain patterns there. Why we encourage people to go to various, in childhood people say travel as much as possible. There are many stories of people that you travel as much as possible. The more you travel, the more you learn. Because when you travel to totally new city like Venice, you travel new city Scotland, new city Dubai, you travel Singapore, you'll find many things which you have not seen earlier, and it will trigger a new thought in you. I think sometime for unearthing the blind spot, if you believe into it, then you need to have no agenda meetings. No agenda meetings. I conduct no agenda meetings. I just call 7-8 people in the room for 2 hours just having a chit chat. Maybe start from some European crisis to something else, but it will move from something else, and you simply ask what can go wrong in this, what can go wrong in this. You may get some thought of this. No agenda meetings, once a week, 2 hours time is not something substantial time you are investing into no agenda meeting. But these no agenda meetings are abilities that I can sense what is bubbling it up. Because sometimes people don't complain about certain things, it's bubbling it up. Some processes are going wrong in the organization which is not bubbling it up. When you have no agenda meeting, people may open up. When you have an agenda meeting, people doesn't want to make it formal conversation on it.